here. When Lexy Beecher learned her husband was in a rocket attack and survived, she sighed. That probably wasn't the usual response of the wife of a Marine who hadn't seen her husband in almost 2 years. But then again, she wasn't the usual wife. When the officer phoned to tell her the news, she couldn't bring herself to cry or laugh or even breathe a sigh of relief. She didn't like her husband, and while she hadn't wished him dead, she never wanted to lay eyes on him again. Her husband was a horrible man, an awful man, a piece of no good, low-down, stinky shit, as her best friend and Ryan's cousin, Di, called him. It wasn't a harsh description. It was truth. He was hurt very badly. She nodded slowly, trying to take in all the information that was being thrown at her. The doctor thought she was in shock, but she wasn't in shock. She was numb. She didn't love him. She was going to leave him. The divorce papers sat in her nightstand, just waiting for him to come home. She should have served them to him years ago, but she wasn't able to. She had been stuck. Everybody, including Ryan, thought they had her pegged. They thought she was weak, that she lacked the backbone, the confidence to make it in the world without him. They were wrong. Ryan's mother was the only one who got it right. She thought Lexy stayed for love. Lexy had stayed in a marriage to a man she felt nothing for because she did love somebody. However, that person was not her husband. Her husband had gone out of his way to make it impossible to leave him, to keep her down, to keep her bonded to him. Hell, he had almost succeeded once, but she wouldn't ever be stuck again. It took her 2 years to rebuild, but she regained everything, including her self-respect. He wasn't stable enough to move until this week, the doctor continued, but Lexy barely heard him. After he had left for Iraq, Lexy had taken steps to reclaim her life. She began to once again save every penny she could spare. She had researched different towns and the services they had to offer. She found a cute little place where she could live for cheap and some jobs that would pay the bills. She wouldn't need anything from him. Nothing except what she prized most, her freedom. And all he had to do was sign. All she had to do was get him to sign. That task would be difficult, almost Herculean, because the one thing her husband took pride in was his power over her. He wanted to keep her shackled to him like a dog, and it wasn't out of love or friendship or simple companionship. He did it because he thought he could, because once upon a time, she had been stupid enough to let it happen. To him, she was his property, and when he was drunk, she turned into his punching bag. How could she be so blind to not realize that he never loved her? She never loved him either. For 10 years, they had existed on sick codependence. Lexy had married Ryan when she was just 17 years old, when she had been beautiful and naive and filled with hope. Ryan had been 22, devastatingly handsome and deceptively sweet. He was everything an innocent girl thought she wanted in a husband. You may not recognize him, the doctor continued, pulling her out of her deep thoughts. He has a lot of contusions, a broken leg, rib fractures, burns over 20% of his body, and a broken nose. In addition to that, he took a nasty blow to the head. He's been in and out of consciousness for over a month. She took it all in. He had been through all of that and didn't even have the decency to die. Has he said anything? I'm sorry, Lexy. She looked up at the handsome military doctor. Why are you sorry, doctor? He couldn't have said anything he hasn't said before. No, Mrs. Beecher, the doctor shook his head.